Hi everyone, my name is Elin. I teach with Gediminas at Lund School of Architecture, and today I'm going to show you an example of your Illustrator assignment. So for the example assignments, Gediminas and I chose to show a Canon camera lens. So in my diagram that you can see here, I'm trying to show the zoom function and the focus function of the lens. So when this part rotates, you change the zoom, and this part down here changes the focus. And you can see that I've chosen to show those two different rotations through colors in this example. So I'm inspired by a game called Okami, and Okami is a Japanese game. It's three-dimensional, but it has a sort of ink-drawn outline around all the characters. So in Illustrator, I've chosen to layer this diagram in this way. I'm going to show you quickly here in the button called Layers, that when you click that, you're going to see that I've been working in several layers. The bottom ones are imported images that I've loosely traced. So let's start to create one of these together. We're going to start by going to File and New. We're going to go to Print, View All Presets, Orientation Landscape, A3, millimeters, Create. Well, that didn't work, so let's change the orientation of the paper to landscape, please. Okay, perfect. Now what I'm going to do is that I'm going to drag in the images, rotate them, and scale them as we go. I go to the place in my folders where I have the images. I drag them. I zoom out by pressing Alt and using the scroll wheel on the mouse. Rotate through this little icon that you see. Press, drag, hold Shift for 90 degrees. And when I want to scale it down, I also hold Shift for proportional scaling. Zoom in, press Alt, use your scroll wheel. Note that I have the user interface Essential Classics on. If you press here, you get a sort of a roll down menu with different options. And I enjoy working with Essential Classics. This is then my layer 1. I would like to create an additional layer above it for the next image. I'm going to double click on the name layer 1 and rename it 00 elevation close. I'm going to lock it. I'm going to double click over here, 01 elevation, and then let's name that one zoom. I drag the image that shows the extended zoom into the view. Zoom out. Scroll down. Would like it to sort of at least match a little bit. So go to opacity up here, drag it down, maybe 50, so that I can see what I'm doing when I'm scaling it. I think I'm happy enough. 100%. Next layer, create new layer. Elevation. And drag the last image onto my artboard. Doesn't really need to be perfect. I'm only going to trace the very extended part with these two layers. Probably have to move all of the images a little bit. So you might have noticed that I have locked them underneath. I'm now unlocking them. What I do now is that I press and I drag and I let go. I'm just going to move them a little bit. Maybe there. Okay. I'm going to lock them. And what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to toggle visibility so that I only see the very bottom one. And you can see now when I've locked all of them, I can't draw anything. I have a pen with a little stop sign. So what I will do is that I will create a new layer so that I can draw on something. I will double click on it and I will name it 0, 0. What would be a good, so maybe something like draw elevation closed. Now we're going to start with the outlining and some of the basic tools of Illustrator. So there are many ways of going about this. I'm going to do it in quite a rapid way that shows you the semi-parametric properties of the tools. Over here you can see your stroke and your fill, and I do not want any fill in this diagram, so I go up here and I choose the one that's crossed over, means none. Go to my pen tool and let's see, I think I would like to start here, so I click once. It has like a slight bend, and I think I would like to capture that, so I'm going to click once in the middle as well. Once over here, in the middle, to the side, and sort of the middle again, to the side, in the middle, and in the end. And what you have here is a path, and you can see that it has anchors. And the anchors in the middle of the paths, I'm now going to alter a little bit so they become a bit round. So go to pen tool, and I press down. I press, and then I let go on the anchor point tool. I go here until I see a little purple text that says anchor. I click and I drag until I get a preview that has sort of like a bulginess to it that I would like to capture here. Click and drag. There. And now you can see a very basic path. If I click on it with my black mouse, it's going to say that it has the stroke of 1 and that it is black. I'm going to make it just a little bit fatter so that I can see something. Here we go. I'm going to continue going around in the same fashion to capture a few of the parts. I would like to capture this little end here. Click, click, click. Zooming in. Click. And then I can press escape to finish the tool if I want to. And you've noticed that over here they're sort of going in there together, but not here. What I can do then is that I can press it once with my black mouse pointer. Then I can go to my direct selection tool, the white one. I can click once on this anchor and I can drag it. It's quite amazing. So what you might have noticed is that Illustrator works differently from Photoshop. So Illustrator works with vectors. And you can zoom in indefinitely into the vectors, but you cannot onto the raster, and you can see it here because we have an image underneath and a vector on top. When you zoom into the images, you start seeing the pixels, but when you zoom into a vector, you never see any pixels. Which is quite amazing. It creates diagrams and sometimes, in our case, plan drawings that are colored in that you can scale up and down depending on if you want to create a large drawing or a small one. If you want to work in scale 1 to 100 or 1 to 1000. Or if you create a logo for a company and you want to be able to use it on business cards, but also on the sides of airplanes. So I'm going to go here to this anchor point again with my anchor point tool. Click, drag, and this last bit also. Why not? There. Over there. So you can use your control set in the middle of these commands, be able to just go back without exiting the command that I did there when I wasn't happy where my anchor landed. Alright, here we've got some outlines. I'm actually going to call these not draw, but I'm going to call them outlines because we're going to do a few details as well. I'm going to lock that. I'm going to create yet another layer. Call it 00, details, elevation. I'm going to do a few outlines such as these. I'm now going to show you, you can press this and you can move it. I'm going to show you quite a handy tool that appears if you right click. There are many here, but we're going to go through the one called Reflect. It gives you a few options. I would like to reflect this vertically. Preview, fine. Copy. Not sure it worked. I think I pressed the wrong one. Let's do it again. Transform, reflect, I would like a copy, please. There we go. And I would like to just move it to the side. It's not 100%, corresponding to the underlying image, but I'm not sure that it matters for this diagram, which is supposed to show movement, and you're supposed to sort of practice your Illustrator skills. It doesn't have to be perfect. I think I would like to do this one as well. Not sure that that's a perfect reflection, but why not? Right click. What I did there, by the way, is that I dragged and I pressed Alt. Then you get a copy. It can be quite nice sometimes. But now I would like to reflect it. Copy option. Yes, please. Beautiful. All right. We're gonna go through a little special one now. It's called blend, and it's gonna create these sort of ridges quite nicely for us. So let's start off by creating a line up here. Press Alt, drag the line down there. And I believe that we could reuse this one soon. So I'm gonna maybe just leave it there. So press the bottom one, the top one. Go to Object, Blend, and Make. We would like to look at our blend options. We would like to align to path, and we would like to specify the amounts of steps. And we don't want 162. We want maybe 40. Preview. Looks alright. Okay. We want to use the nice one that we created here as a back. So we would like to use the sort of detail that we created here as the spine for our blend. So what we're going to do is we're going to select our blend, press Shift to be able to select also this path, go to Object, Blend, Replace Spine. It is now going to go crazy. We want to go into the top one and the bottom one, move them around. Oh no, we lost our little detail. We'll redraw that later. Go to the anchors, click once, drag here. We want to shift this guy a bit, like that. It's a bit of fiddling, but it still saves a bit of time, I think. Instead of drawing all these ridges yourself one by one. You can change how fast they sort of get close to each other and things like that. It doesn't really have to be perfect. I just want to give this sort of like feel for these ridges. Something I'm not super happy. Maybe yeah, getting better. Getting better. Yeah, happy enough. All right. Alright. We would like to get this really nice guy back there that we had. Press, right click, transform, reflect, preview. Maybe we'll grab this guy, result, drag, right click, transform, reflect. We don't need a copy actually, something like that. Drag it to over there, and now we definitely want to change it around a bit. Make these guys smaller. Maybe fewer, possibly. And click, blend options, like 30 of them maybe. Yeah, they're a bit wonky, it's okay. Okay, so for the middle part, we're gonna do sort of a simpler blend, but since the line gets longer in the middle, we're gonna create half of it, and then we're going to reflect it upwards. Pen tool, creating a line, dragging it down, there. It's actually not perfectly straight, which sort of bothers me, so I'm going to teach you to make a straight line. Pen tool, click once, hold down Shift, click once, click, Shift, click. Select, select, object, blend, make, options, specified steps, 7. Beautiful. And let's go to transform, reflect, horizontal copy. It's actually like a bit longer there, so yeah, I'm pretty happy with that actually. I like that. A bit dynamic. What I did was I went to File and I hit Save. It's heavy stuff. Alright. I am happy with the way that I've drawn elevation closed. I'm going to go to elevation zoom and start creating those layers. I toggle visibility on that one. I lock this, create a new layer. 0, 1, outlines, elevation, zoom, zoom, zoom. Pen tool to start scribbling that one out. There. Just notice that I have the lens cover on when I do this, which is sort of funny. Why would you want to zoom with your lens cover on? There. It is gorgeous. Alright. And the last one. New layer. Elevation. Focus. Ooh, there's a little screw there. I think I would like to draw that. I'm actually going to go in and change these up a little bit also after we've traced, just to make them in the diagram look better with each other, sort of regardless of where they exactly are in these points. Fine. Bam. Yes, and also the little screw. So you can do so many things in Illustrator. We've only gone through the pen tool at this point, but there are also some like nice basic shapes. So if you hover over this square here, click, drag and release, you can choose any of these beauties. I'm going to choose the ellipse tool, and I hold shift to create a perfect little circle. Put it there. Love it. So I'm gonna close all of those images, because I don't think I need them right now. I'm just gonna start looking a bit at what these might look like when they overlay, if I think they're in good position relative to each other. I think they're actually quite alright, these guys. So as you saw in my previous one, I'm gonna transform them into this. I'm also gonna draw the arrows, but maybe I'll do this after I've changed the sort of brush sets, because it's fun. So outlines, elevation closed. I'm going to check what it was called, because I don't really remember, and I would like the exact one, because I really liked it. Where are you? I name all these layers and then I don't even use it. So there it is. It is called Charcoal Rough. Yep. Amazing. And these guys are hidden over here. And maybe you can't see all of them. Then you can go in here. So we're going to start with selecting all of the outlines by clicking over there. And we selected all of them. Brush library. It's called Artistic Charcoal, was it? Oh no, I already forgot what it was called. I think it looked like that. Yes. I click on it and I get this gorgeous sort of Okami styled outline thing going. And I'm going to go into stroke. I'm going to make it just a little bit more like splush. I'm going to go into the details. I wonder what I made them. I don't remember that either. I made them different. I made these guys over here into specifically the charcoal tapered. So I sat around for an hour yesterday and just finding the nicest ones for you. Maybe I have to explode this guy now to be able to do this. Or maybe I can go into the anchors. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Seems like I have to explode it. That's okay. I'm gonna go into objects, blend, and expand. Was it charcoal tapered, maybe? Was it? I think so. Pencil feather, thin and thick, tapered. There we go. Look at that. It's nice. Okay. It's really thick. Maybe I'll fix it around a bit later. Go over to that one. Objects, blend, expand. Maybe use the tapered there too. Actually sort of hiding. I think it's a shame. I think I'm gonna just like cheat a bit and move them to here, even though they might not be there in real life. Look at that. And the middle ones. What was that? That was there. Rounded. Rounded. Object, blend, expand. charcoal, that rounded. Where are you at? Yes. Oh, spush. And I also changed the color of them. You can do that by going to over there, it's just row color, and change it to something nice. And then we also got the little side ones. What could that have been? Of course, they're also different. So that one I think is the rounded. So if I press it, that one, basic, rounded. Love it. And this one looked a bit like thin. Should I just improvise now? Yeah, look at that. Tapered. It's looking good. Okay, I'm gonna save. So now we got the closed layer, the details and the outline sort of sorted out. I'm actually gonna move that ones below, so it's gonna look better. So let's go into the zoom one. Just go for it. Yeah, maybe that one. And then the focused one. Some of them look a bit like faster than the others, which I like. But I also thought it was nice with like a narrative where they looked a bit like thinner when they're in motion. In the same sense as you can use something that's a bit more opaque when something is in motion. Maybe you could use a sort of like a sketchy brush that just has less ink in it. So I think these two would be my ones of choice. Maybe I make this one a bit fatter actually. Maybe like a 1.5. It's exactly the same. That doesn't look very good. This one. You can fiddle around with this forever, can't you? And I'm also going to change the color of these to be able to communicate a little bit better which part you should rotate in order to rotate the different ones. So let's choose the ones that I call the zoom. And let's make them, because in Okami there is a lot of red and orange. I'm going to make these ones red. And I'm going to make those ones orange. That kind of orange. Just beautiful. And then, last but not least, let's create the arrows. New layer. We'd call it arrow. Yeah, feel like nice and sketchy, maybe like a little bit more. There. That one should be red. With some fast, one sort of fat stroke to it. I think I'm gonna teach you something that flips the direction of this. So I want the fatter part to be over there. Go to edit, path, and reverse path direction. And there are ways of making arrows over here by adding arrowheads, but none of them look very good together with the style. So I'm not going to use any of these arrowheads. Actually, that one was okay, but I'm going to make my own. But you can use these if you want to. Yeah. really large. Really thick one. Something a bit more dynamic. I feel like I've used this one too much now, but I really quite like it because it has a different thickness. It's not equally thick all over. It's sort of like an actual brushstroke that you would do. And I need to flip that guy too. Oh, forgot to make it round. Yes. So fast. I'm pretty happy. It's not as nice as the one I did yesterday, but that also took longer. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with this. So go to File. I'm just going to go through how to save stuff again with you. 1 and then 6.